In today's news, AA stages successful direct flights to Beef Island, Tortola. Kashawn Cupid Bratwith is the new Public Service Transformation Manager. In addition to that, Caribbean Posh 2023 takes center stage and heads over to the USVI.
The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman presents Sons in Suits Brunch, a celebration of fathers and sons, at Treasure Isle Hotel on Saturday, June 17th, 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., featuring guest speakers, Deputy Governor of the Virgin Islands David D. Archer Jr., Pastor Courtney Jones, entertainer Raul Jugusprov, entertainment by Johanse Smith and Che Pemberton, alongside DJ Molly. Tickets are $75 for a father and son duo and $40 single tickets. Fun, food, fellowship, and fatherhood. Lots of giveaways included. Ticket outlets are CCT flagship stores on Tortola and Virgin Gorda. Calling all fathers, sons, father figures, nephews, and uncles. Sons in Suits 2023, hosted by the Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a red carpet celebration of fathers and sons. For more information, contact 442-3132. Proudly sponsored by CCT and 284 Media.
Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day.
Hello everyone, it is Thursday, May 25th, 2023. Welcome to this edition of 284 News. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the latest out of Tortola and the Virgin Islands. Thank you all so much for joining us. Beginning with local news out of the British Virgin Islands, a successful test flight was staged today at the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport, paving the way for the commencement of direct flights to Miami next week. Our Jocko Wooding has more on this report.
On Thursday morning, airport personnel, government officials, and curious members of the public gathered at the Terence B. Lettsome International Airport to witness the landing of a staged flight carrying American Airlines crew members who will operate direct flights between Tortola and Miami commencing June 1st. The flight landed on schedule about 11:30 a.m. that day and was welcomed on the ground by a party of government officials, airport staff, and technical personnel. Following the landing, we spoke with Managing Director of the BVI Airports Authority, Mr. Kurt Maynal, on how the morning proceeded.
Well, from our perspective, today was a success. Today was kind of ad hoc because American decided to do what they're calling a proving flight. Some people refer to it as a test flight, but it's actually a proving flight where they did some training. So they came in with essentially just crew, and based on what they were looking to accomplish, to test our approach on runway 25, that's from the east, and runway 07 from the west, it was a success. So you'd have seen that they would have done a flyover from the east, and then they would have done the approach from the west and landed comfortably on our runway here at Terence B. Lettsome. So from our part, it was a resounding success. They were actually overjoyed to be here. It was exactly what they expected because they have been working on their approaches and their metrics for a while. They've been talking to our operations people, our regulators, our safety people, doing their calculations and so on. So it was exactly what they expected. So it was a success from their standpoint as well.
Maynal said that following today's activity, all eyes are set on June 1st. He provided an update on the preparedness of the airport's authority to welcome those flights.
With respect to accommodating American Airlines, we are ready. We are an airport, so our business is operations, our business is efficiency and flows, our business is maximizing capacity. So what we have done is just tweaked our systems and our processes to accommodate the increase in traffic, the increase in numbers moving through our facility come June 1st. Because on the very first day, you'd see that American Airlines has increased capacity because they will have the inaugural flight and the second flight later on. And in between, you'll have our regular schedule of Cape Air and Inter-Caribbean and all of them coming through. So yes, it will be an initial test for us to test our systems, test the resiliency of our systems and how they will work. But we're pretty confident that we are prepared.
He also provided some information on how American Airlines will establish itself to serve on the ground in the Virgin Islands.
American Airlines, we've leased out 2 offices to them, but primarily they do their business online. So they normally do their business online and through a call center. So the traveling public would have access to that. And yes, there would be representatives on the ground. And locally, they've engaged a handler who you'd also be able to access their services through.
The plane, an E-170 jet, smoothly took off from the airport around 2:30 p.m., heading straight back to the Miami International Airport. 284 News, Jacko Wooding.
In line with the efforts of the Ministry of Education, Youth Affairs and Sports to observe Early Childhood Awareness Week, a panel discussion was held on Tuesday on the topic Supporting Early Childhood. The panel sat Moderator Giovanni Herbert, Education Officer with responsibility for early childhood development Genevieve McMaster, Special Education Teacher at the Autism Center Ms. Jillian Ellis-John, and Head of Pediatrician at the Dr. Deolando Smith Hospital, Dr. Arnold Soller. Education Officer McMaster led the discussion by delivering into the need for this observation.
I think generally speaking, we all recognize the importance of early childhood as its own stage of development in the human process, right? There's lots of evidence that supports its need and reasons to give it its own individuality, I suppose, or its own attention. So every year, we take 1 week to sort of highlight and advocate for what happens in early childhood development across our territory. The Ministry of Education leads on that. And I suppose primarily because we focus on the education aspects, but I believe we would recognize that early childhood development requires more than education. And so this week we are talking about supporting early childhood development, and in particular quality early childhood development. And so therefore our activities this week are really geared towards bringing in more of the stakeholders, or having more of the stakeholders involved. And so we opened at church, which we normally do because the church is key, of course. So we started with that. We did have the Minister of Education also giving her comments to open the week as well. Our early childhood centers are open to the public to give persons an opportunity to see and understand what happens in early childhood centers. I believe we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. And then, of course, we're having the panel discussion today, and you'll notice we have with us Disability Service as well as BVI HSA, because health and development, we're all going together.
Meanwhile, Soller provided some of his expertise on the critical movements of children and their young development.
Early childhood development is very important because it is during the first few years of life that the brain is still very malleable, especially in the first 3 years of life, because the brain are producing networks, meaning nerve cells are producing connections or pathways to a group of nerve cells in different areas of the brain. And that's what you call neural circuits. These neural circuits are very important because you need to have healthy neural circuits because they're the base of learning, behavior, and adaptability of human beings. So if you're not able to optimally care during those first 3 years and even the subsequent years, then you might be having problems later on with learning, and there might be delays in their milestones.
Okay, so what are some of these phases of the early childhood development?
Okay,
the phase, optimize them.
Yeah, so based on age, usually from conception, newborn, infancy, toddlers, and then you have preschool, school age, and adolescence. But what's more important to understand is that it's like a stream. These milestones are streams. So when you bring your children to a pediatrician, it is imperative that the pediatrician should be able to monitor the skills, So there are 4 or 5 major skills that needs to be monitored every time you go for a well visit. The first one is your gross motor skills. So this involves, the gross movements of a child. So usually we expect that children are supposed to sit at 6 months, and they stand at 9 months, 10 months, they're supposed to walk. And then there's what you call fine motor skills and visual motor skills, which go to hand in hand. So at 9 months, we expect that children are supposed to do fine movements, especially on their hands, like pincer grasp reflex, and they can pick up those Cheerios already. And then for the visual, motor skills, usually that involves like at 1 year, we expect children, a child usually knows already how to throw a ball, but catching the ball, usually that goes later on, like around 3 years of age, because again, it's a stream, there is a progression. And then there's what you call language skills, wherein you expect babies at first 2 months of life or 3 months of life, they start cooing, and then later on they make hard sounds, and that's babbling already, like around 4 months, and then they start talking around 10 or 12 months of age.
The full panel discussion is available on the Government of the Virgin Islands Facebook page. A vigil will be held on Friday, May 26 at the Sir B. Rumney Tortola Pier Park as members of the Guyanese community here in the British Virgin Islands gather to pay their respects and mourn 19 students who were killed in a recent dorm fire in Guyana. Persons are urged to walk with the following light forms to participate: candles, cell phones, and simple torchlights. The activity commences at 6 p.m. All are invited. Viewers, up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
When you're in need of air conditioning, installation, repairs, or replacement services, Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration has the professional technicians, equipment, parts, and ACs to get the job done right. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration carries top brands like Daikin, Aircon, Mitsubishi, and more. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located in Fish Bay. Telephone 340-4114 or 343-9511. Markinson Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, providing exceptional services to the British Virgin Islands since 2015.
Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny Boy, come, yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny Boy. Hold on. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, take care.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join a prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Viewers, welcome back and thank you so much for sticking with us. Of course, the Caribbean Posh 2023 making its way over to the U.S. Virgin Islands. We were joined by Director of Caribbean Posh, the lovely Jeanette Brin, who gave some background on the project. She also spoke about the history in which the background provided much needed assistance for the exposure of Caribbean women and entrepreneurs across the region.
Everybody is so excited to represent and be all posh and everything, and sharing moments with some of their best girlfriends, best I like to call entrepreneurial besties. Encouraging that energy for us to collaborate on ideas and things that we want to do career-wise. It's just amazing.
Beautiful.
I get excited just talking about it.
As I mentioned to you before, congratulations. But I want to touch on one simple aspect, right? Because the past few years have been quite a roller coaster, all right, for everybody across the world, but particularly across the region.
Yes.
But in observing the content of Posh, it seemed to have simply skyrocketed over the COVID era and period. I want to talk about that time where persons were locked down, but the brand of Posh really spread its wings to the Caribbean. What was that moment and that space like for you as the creator?
So I think one thing, the whole experience of the lockdown, especially here in BVI, I think we were one of the islands or the territories that had that kind of unique experience. Like we were really locked down, and it really made you think about what you wanted to do with your life. And how you're going to pivot or push forward on any personal journey or entrepreneurial journey that you were doing prior to COVID. So I had a lot of time to think, and social media became even more of a best friend. So all of us, not just myself, I think a lot of us spent time, just having fun and just being our quirky, regular selves and just opening up to what was on our mind and, just sharing our individual experiences. So taking that into context with this being an entrepreneurial journey for me, I felt like, I need to get out more with Caribbean Posh. I need to showcase and help encourage us as Caribbean people the importance of collaboration, the importance of building on our ability to commerce between our islands. Because, an example of that is when you're cut off from the rest of the world, it takes a damper on things.
Precisely.
And there's so much, there's so many Caribbean brands that a lot of us probably got introduced to during COVID. And for me, that said to me that as Caribbean people, we need to be more conscious about that, about Shop Caribbean, which is one of my initiatives in this year's Power Brunch, where we want to just, hey, hashtag Shop Caribbean.
Shop around the region.
We are important, and the more we invest in ourselves, the better, the stronger that we will be, not just as a territory, but as a wider Caribbean. So yeah, that's the message I want to push forward this year.
Excellent. Well, as I mentioned, Caribbean Posh 2023, it's making its way over to the USVI. Speaking on COVID and its impact on the brand, she discussed how important it was to rebrand at that time.
So COVID, again, inspired that. So I figure, while something like that, in anything entrepreneurial that you're doing, certain things are easier said than done. So I said, I have to get out of my comfort zone and take this a little further. Let me test this out. St. Thomas, right next door. It's, like second home to many of us.
It's still family.
It's still family all the time, definitely. So let's do this. So we're embarking on a 3-day weekend experience. As like I said, as a means of building a brand, giving us as Posh Girls an opportunity to network, maximize our networking opportunities, connect with family and friends over in the USVI, or people we've never met before who are like-minded and could possibly make waves in your business or entrepreneurial journey that you're working on. When it comes to growing your business or entrepreneurship adventure, it's important to get yourself out there. So just as I need to get myself out there, my fellow Posh Girl entrepreneurs need to get themselves out there as well. So I'm hoping that this curated experience gives us an opportunity to do that. And I'm trying my best to make it easier for us, to be able to travel to St. Thomas, whether you want to make a weekend of it, to really, really have a great time, or make a day trip for the main event. So starting on June 16th, we're going to be at the Batu Studio. This is a beautiful studio in St. Thomas owned by a lady named Lina Batu. She is a designer, artist, and owner of the design studio. And she is just an amazing lady within herself. So we're going to share an evening of what we call the Fashion Villa experience, where we're talking about design and fashion and influencing, being that we're in a very social media driven world.
In speaking about the event and encouraging persons to come out, Bryn shared this.
For Sammy B Designs, she has dressed a number of celebrities, including Beyonce and a number of others, and her brand recently launched on Target and Nordstrom. She's Jamaican heritage, by the way. Our very own Kristen, of course.
Amazing, yes.
Kristen is like my everything every year. She's the ultimate Posh Girl. So, I'm sure you get it. You totally
Absolutely.
agree. Anybody who's around Kristen, you get it.
The energy, the life, the beauty
you
that
get
is.
it.
Yeah.
So she's there again on the journey, on her entrepreneurial journey as well, as she celebrates her road to 15.
Yes.
So she's doing it up in St. Thomas with us as well. Day 2, the main event, the Posh Girl Power Brunch, which most of us are familiar with, will be taking place at Cutlass and Cane in Yacht Haven Grand. It's this amazing restaurant that's locally owned. That's another thing I'm excited about, the opportunity to, you know, because for the past couple of years, it's been at beautiful resorts,
Yes.
which is great. But how cool is it to work with locally owned restaurants and venues to really, you know, amplify, to really amplify that whole idea of entrepreneurship and supporting Caribbean. It says a whole lot, so we're excited about that. Claire Summers from Fashion Bomb Daily, she's going to be our amazing keynote. If you're not familiar with Claire Summers, she is one of the most notable fashion influencers in the world, period. So if you're in design, fashion, and creative.
For the full interview, visit all 284 media platforms. Up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will
Everything Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on, the government of the Virgin Islands is moving forward with the transformation of the public service and has appointed Mrs. Kishan Cupid Brathwaite to manage the initiative. Mrs. Cupid Brathwaite was appointed Public Service Transformation Manager effective March 1st, 2023, and will oversee the management, execution, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting of all elements of the Public Service Transformation Program. She will also provide the necessary program support and guidance to the various ministries. Mrs. Cupid Brathwaite will ensure the systemic alignment of the government's policies, priorities, and objectives with the priority areas of the program, such as good governance, customer service, public administration, human resource management, and digital transformation. Deputy Governor Mr. David D. Archer stated that Mrs. Cupid Brathwaite is capable of managing the responsibilities of overseeing the public service transformation He said, and I quote, "Mrs. Cupid has been with the public service for many years," the deputy governor said, adding, "In consequence, she has an in-depth understanding of how the service has traditionally functioned and can use her experience and qualifications to chart the way forward to its advancement in line with each ministry's transformation goals." Meanwhile, Mrs. Cupid Bratworth said she felt privileged for the opportunity to fill this important role and, of course, to coordinate the Public Service Transformation Program on behalf of the public service, saying, "I sincerely believe that we have the potential, experience, and knowledge to achieve our vision of creating a world-class public service that is respected, trusted, and efficient, with people at the center of everything we do." She continued by saying, "My years of experience in human resources, management, workforce planning and development, and my qualifications in psychology will allow me to offer the best support and advice that I can give to heads of department and other public officers." The new Public Service Transformation Manager pledged to work collaboratively with every ministry as well as the newly appointed Director of Customer Service to improve customer service delivery, progress, digital transformation, to modernize services, strengthen abilities to meet good governance standards, and continue to enhance capacity among public officers, which will ultimately change the way that clients are served. Prior to her appointment as Public Service Transformation Manager, Mrs. Cupid Bratworth held the post of Senior Assistant Human Resources Manager at the Office of the Deputy Governor. Her career as a public officer began in 1996 as a clerical trainee at the Ministry of Finance. In almost 3 decades in the service, she has held positions such as Personal Assistant to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Social Development, Employee Assistance Program Counselor, Workforce Development Manager, and Acting Labor Commissioner. Mrs. Cupid holds a Master of Science degree in Mental Health Counseling from Nova Southeastern University in Florida, as well as a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Psychology from Florida International University. Additionally, she holds a certificate in leadership from Caribbean Center for Development Administration and is a court mediator certified by the University of the West Indies and Eastern Supreme Court. In closing out our newscast today, some very great news. P3 Paper Plastic Products Incorporated, a 100% Virgin Islands owned company, received acknowledgement in Florida Business Magazine for exemplary business activity and commitment to excellence. Paper Plastic Products Inc. is proud, they said, to announce that it has recently been featured in the Florida Business Magazine for its exceptional business activity and drive for greatness. The company's dedication to excellence, they say, in the field of biodegradable food service packaging has earned them recognition as a leader in their industry. With vast experience in the marketing, international business, and manufacturing industry, P3 Paper Plastic Products has consistently delivered high-quality products and excellent customer service. Now, their commitment to sustainable practices has also set them apart in the industry. P3 strives to reduce its environmental impact by using eco-friendly materials and innovative technologies, that is, in its production process, which so happens to also be in line with the British Virgin Islands' long-standing and long-term sustainable development plan on the recently established environmentally focused governmental ministry and policies. In an official comment, they said, "We are honored to be recognized for our efforts in the industry. Our team has worked hard to create a company that is dedicated to delivering high-quality products while also prioritizing sustainability. This recognition is a testament to the hard work and dedication of everyone on our team," St. Clair Fleming, the CEO of P3, eloquently said. Now, P3 offers a wide range of services, packaging and facilities, equipment, and machinery. Their products are perfect for restaurants, resorts, and other businesses that prioritize sustainability and quality. For more information, you can visit businessviewcaribbean.com/digital magazines. And for more information on Paper Plastic Products Incorporated, that's P3, you can visit p3vi.com. Again, that website is p3vi.com. Viewers, that is it for today's News Roundup. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to follow us for our daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course, like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Goodbye.